Today, we're going to do something pretty amazing. We are going to build a fully functional AI assistant right from the ground up. And you know what the best part is? We're going to do it all without writing a single line of code. So yeah, let's jump right in. So, the tool we're using for this magic trick is called Agent Builder. Just imagine a big visual canvas, kind of like a whiteboard, where you can connect different AI models, or nodes, to build your very own custom AI agent. It's all about helping you create, test, and launch some pretty complex AI workflows, but doing it all visually and, honestly, incredibly fast. And the whole process, it's really straightforward. First, you design everything visually, almost like you're drawing a flowchart. Then, and this is the cool part, you can test it right away to see how it's working. And finally, when you're happy with it, you launch it directly into your product. That's the exact journey we're about to take together. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to kick things off by designing the agent's brain. Then we'll build out some specialized paths for different jobs it needs to do. After that, we'll give it a nice visual touch to make its answers look great. And finally, we'll test it one last time and publish our creation. Let's get started. First up, designing the agent's brain. For our project today, we're building a super helpful travel agent, and this is where we lay down its core decision-making logic. So every single workflow in Agent Builder begins with what's called a start node. You can think of it as the front door, right? It's where the user's question or request first comes in. For our travel agent, we don't even need to touch this. The default settings are exactly what we need. Okay, so our travel agent needs to do two very different things: find flights and create itineraries. To handle that, we need a decision maker at the front, so we'll add a classifier agent and give it one simple, clear instruction. You are a helpful travel assistant for classifying whether a message is about an itinerary or a flight. We're basically giving it one job and one job only: sort the mail as it comes in. But just sorting isn't quite enough. We need its answer to be structured, something the rest of our system can understand perfectly every time. So we tell the classifier to give us its decision in JSON format. Specifically, it has to create a property called classification that can only be one of two things: flight info or itinerary. This is absolutely key for what comes next. Now we add an if-else node, which creates a fork in the road. It's super simple. If the classifier says flight info, the request gets sent down the path to our flight specialist. Otherwise, it gets routed to our itinerary expert. It's a clean, simple, and completely visual way to control the flow of information. Okay, now let's build out those specialized paths. We've got our router in place, so now we get to create the two expert agents that are going to do the actual heavy lifting. First, we create the flight agent. Its job is pretty clear: recommend specific flights. We've also told it to use airport codes to be as accurate as possible. And here's a really powerful feature. We can give it a special tool, in this case, live web search. This means our agent can access the most current, up-to-the-minute flight information right from the internet. And on the other branch, we have our itinerary agent. This one's a little simpler. Its only job is to take a request and build a great, concise travel plan. No web search needed here, just the pure creative power of the AI model. With the basic structure all set up, you know what time it is. It's time for our first test. Let's ask it a question that should definitely go to our itinerary experts. What should I do in a day in Tokyo? And success! It worked. We can literally watch the request flow through the diagram we built. It hits the classifier, it gets correctly tagged as an itinerary request, and then, whoosh, it's sent to the itinerary agent, which generates this perfect, concise one-day plan for Tokyo. Now for the really fun part: adding a visual touch. I mean, our agent is functional, which is great, but we can seriously level up the user experience by moving beyond just plain text to create something way more engaging. So, the agent works. That's fantastic. But can we make the whole experience better? Can we create something that feels a bit more special than, just a block of text? The answer is a big yes, and the solution is a tool called Widget Studio. This is another awesome tool that lets you design rich, interactive output cards, again, without any code. Think of it like designing the cool visual packaging for your AI's answer. And hooking up a widget is a super simple three-step process. First, you design your custom widget in the studio. Then, you just download the template file it spits out. Finally, you upload that file directly to the agent that you want to use it. It is unbelievably easy. But hold on, because this is where it gets really cool. We can actually give the AI more instructions on how to use the widget. We can add prompts like,
choose a background color creatively based on the destination. And we can also ask it to be more specific, like making sure it includes AM or PM in the time zones. We're essentially letting the AI act as a designer.
All right, time for our second test run. This time, we're aiming for the flight agent with its brand new visual powers. The prompt is SFO to Tokyo on October 7th.
And would you look at that? The result isn't just text anymore. It's this beautiful, rich flight card. The workflow did its job, routed the request, the agent searched the web for a flight, and then it used our widget to display all that info. And you can see it even followed our creative prompt. It chose a yellow background because it associated that color with Tokyo. I mean, how cool is that?
Finally, let's look at the last step. Test, publish, done. We've built and fine-tuned our agent. Now it's time to get it out of the workshop and into the real world. When you're totally satisfied with how your agent is performing, you just hit publish. And that one click transforms your visual design into a fully deployed, production-ready workflow. And this, right here, is where the simplicity of Agent Builder is just a total game changer. The old way to do this would be using a software development kit, an SDK, which means writing and managing a ton of complicated code. But with Agent Builder, you just copy the unique workflow ID and drop it into your product. It makes things so much faster and simpler. And that's it. We've gone from a simple idea to a fully functional, visually engaging AI agent, and we did it all without touching a single line of code. It really shows you how accessible this technology is becoming. So, the final thought I'll leave you with is this. What agent would you build?